What's up, everyone? So there are now several different startups that are working on tests for the COVID-19. Basically, you can take this kit, it gets mailed to your home, you can swab the back of your throat and send it in and get tested. This is a big deal because the United States is still behind on testing compared to other nations around the world. We're basically 2 months late, and we really need to get ramped up so we have the data to know what we're actually dealing with here. All the shelter in place we're doing is absolutely necessary because we have no idea how bad this could get, but it's really affecting the economy. And as soon as we can get more numbers and understand what is the real impact here, we can make the right decisions. Several startups have released these testing kits and are rolling them out over the next couple of weeks. It includes names such as Carbon Health, Nurx, EverlyWell, and others. Some are still awaiting FDA approval, but for the most part, these startups have gotten the green light. But we're still worried about proper use of these tests in the home because they're not done by a professional, as well as possibly the FDA has rushed a little bit of the approval procedure, especially regarding the information that is included with them on how to do the test properly. The price is around a couple $100, ranging anywhere from $135 to $181. These tests are swab-based, so they do raise some supply chain concerns. It's possible we could basically run out of swabs or have some other supply chain issues on running out of the as well as the reagents that are used to actually determine the positivity or negativity of the test. One alternative, Scanwell, is actually working on a blood test, so that could help to spread things out a bit in terms of how the tests are done and possibly alleviate the supply chain issues. As for more numbers, Nurx is going to come out with 10,000 tests or so in the coming weeks, and up to 100,000 in the near future. Carbon Health has a similar story. It should be 10,000 tests within the next 2 weeks, and they should be ramping up to 1,000 tests per day by the end of the next week. We can expect more of these initiatives to come online. It's a pretty hot topic, and there are several other health tech startups that are able to break into this space. All right, so as for whether you should be taking the test or who should really be taking these tests, it really comes down to if you are experiencing symptoms and you believe you may have been exposed to somebody who can spread the virus. But here's the kicker. It's really for those people who might be spreading the virus to those who are most at risk. So if you're living with someone who's at risk, definitely. Or if you believe that you could spread it, then definitely. Otherwise, quarantining yourself is still the most effective way until there are just many, many tests that it becomes really a commodity. Because right now, it's still better that the most at-risk people should be tested. When you get these tests, you really got to make sure you take it correctly. You have to get real deep back in the back of your throat, and it can feel like you're gagging yourself. And so one of the concerns with these tests is people may not actually be able to take it correctly, and therefore leading to more false negatives. All right, so at the end of the day, this is a great initiative. Shelter in place really affecting our economy. We need numbers. We just got to have a lot more testing done to find out what's really going on here. As an example, China has really cracked down on this thing, and they started to see some great results. So slowing down of things, people are recovering. But for us to be able to do the same, we really got to start with getting the facts about all the different states and how they're each responding to this kind of issue. Now, Italy gives a good example of how things can go pretty wrong, so we got to make sure we do this the right way. An example on the flip side is South Korea. They tested more than 300,000 people, and of those that were tested, around 2.7% actually were confirmed. And then of those confirmed cases, 1.1% ended up being deaths in South Korea. So these are some pretty accurate numbers that we can use. But at the end of the day, we just aren't going to know our numbers in the US. We have a totally different health system, different demographics of the people and all of that. If we can get the testing done, we can really understand, do we need to keep sheltering in place, or can we start to recover in terms of economic activity? Where do we stand? So one thing I really want to push for is to say, this has been awesome to see, startups that are in health tech really make a push for this crisis. And it's something I want to see more of. So anybody who's out there in tech who just think about ideas, like what else can we do to really address this issue? Now, Now, I always think about it in terms of like, if it has to do with the medical system, are there any bottlenecks that we can address? Ventilators have been one thing, and just another piece of news. So like, basically Tesla has said they're going to help create ventilators. There have been some like open source initiatives to say, here's how you can create a ventilator at home. Can we do this kind of thing for other bottlenecks, and can we do other things to really just use technology to help alleviate this crisis? All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Basically, we're going to take one of these videos every day, talk about the latest tech news in Silicon Valley to keep you up to date. So if that sounds interesting, like you want to keep up to date, go ahead and subscribe. And let us know in the comment section below, what do you think about testing? Is that really what we should focus on? Or what's the most important issue that we should be focusing on solving with technology during this crisis? All of the links from the video that I talked about, you can find in the description. And thanks for watching.